Hello everyone, I hope that you're having a fabulous day. Today I want to do a first impression / mini review on POLÈNE's number 8 and number 8 mini since I have been using them for the last few days and be able to share a little bit more information, especially if you're looking to add either of these bags to your collection. So I hope that you enjoy this video. If you do, make sure and give it a thumbs up. And without further ado, let's get started, shall we? First things first, POLÈNE was gracious and sent me these bags so that way I can try them out firsthand and be able to provide them with feedback. So this is not a sponsored video. For the following details, I do have my notes in front of me. I don't want to forget anything. I don't want to leave anything out. So if you see me looking down, you know why. All right, so as far as the number 8 retails for $350. It's available in 5 different colors: black, camel, nude, fresh almond, and gray. This is actually the nude, and unfortunately, it's not showing up the way that it is in real life on camera. On camera, it looks a little bit more washed out, but it does have a pink undertone to it. It's a little bit more on the pink side than the nude side, and I absolutely love that. You guys know how I feel about the color pink. But the material, it is a full-grained calf leather on the exterior, and it does have the suede lining. Now the weight, it weighs in at 1 pound, 4.8 ounces. The measurements are 9 inches in height, 8 inches in width, and 8 inches in depth. This bag does feature 2 different straps. You can either use, or 2 different handles, or 2 different ways of carrying it, if you will. You have a handle, and the drop on this handle is 4 inches, and it also comes with an adjustable strap. It is not removable. Now it does have 5 different adjustments, and those adjustments are an inch. They're an inch apart. Now on the longest setting, if you were to measure it from the tip of the bag to the top of the this handle here, it is actually a 20-inch strap drop. And on the shortest setting, from the tip of the bag to the top of the handle, it is 16 and a half. So I think it's quite generous when it comes to the strap drop, whether you go to use it on the longest setting or on the shortest setting. Now this bag does not feature any exterior pockets or any interior pockets. It does have the drawstring closure with this little slider here, and when you open it up, as I mentioned before, it does have the suede lining, and at the very bottom, you guys aren't going to be able to see it, but it says POLÈNE made in Spain. There we go. Now it does feature 4 feet along the bottom, and the hardware that this bag has is gold-plated stainless steel. I forgot to mention one other thing, that whenever you do end up using the number 8 on the longest setting, that last rivet there, it doesn't have an opening, so that way you can end up closing it. So this guy is pretty much on its own, and you can't end up using this holder either because it's a little too big. So I also wanted to share that with you. Now as far as the details on the number 8 mini, I actually have 2 of them. They sent me the fresh almond, and they also sent me the black. So as far as the number 8 mini, it retails for $290. It's available in 5 different colors as well. The black that you guys just saw, the camel, the nude. On the previous one, this is fresh almond, but it's actually more of like a mint, which I absolutely love. And it also is available in the gray. This is also the full-grained calf leather, and the interior also has suede. Now on the fresh almond, it does have the matching suede interior, but on the black one, it has the lighter suede interior. And I imagine that they did that just in case that way you don't have to experience any type of color transfer if you do have lighter small leather goods. I could be wrong. That is just an assumption. But as far as the weight of this bag, it comes in at 13.8 ounces. The measurements are approximately 7.5 inches in height, 7 inches in width, and 7 inches in depth. You could also use this bag in various ways. You can either use it as a hand carry bag or on the crook of your arm. And it does have a 3-inch strap drop from the handle to the top of the bag. It also comes with an adjustable strap that also has 5 adjustments, and those adjustments are also 1 inch apart. But the biggest difference between the larger one and the smaller one is that this guy only has 1 rivet, whereas that one has 2. Now as far as the measurements on this strap, on the longest setting from the tip of the strap to the top of the top handle here, it has a 21-inch strap drop on the longest setting, and on the shortest setting it has a 17-inch strap drop. This also has the drawstring closure with the slider, and it also doesn't feature any pockets on the interior or on the exterior. It does have 4 feet along the bottom, and the hardware on this as well is the gold-plated stainless steel. Now for the pros when it comes to these two bags, first and foremost, the leather. The leather is absolutely incredible. It's so soft, it's so lightweight, it's so flexible. I feel like you can end up using either of these two bags for extended periods of time, no problem. I also appreciate the fact that it does have so much versatility because you can either use them as a hand carry bag on the crook of your arm. You can also use them as a shoulder bag or as a crossbody bag, so I think that's wonderful. And because it does have the 5 different adjustments on the strap, I feel like you have a little bit more play. You can either have them be a little higher up on your torso or a little bit longer. It's not very limiting. And on that same note, when it comes to the strap, I also love the fact that it is a flat strap, because I don't know about you, but I always struggle with shoulder bags or even crossbody bags that end up having the rolled handle, because the rolled handle just kind of flying right off of my shoulder and it drives me nuts. And when it happens time and time again, I'm like, oh no, no more. I'm out. I'm absolutely out. So the fact that this has the flat strap, I think is wonderful. Another pro that these have is the fact that they both have feet along the bottom. I'm especially happy that the larger version has the feet because that way if you go to set it down on an abrasive surface, you don't have to worry that you're going to get any type of scratches or anything like that. You're not going to damage the leather. If anything, it'll end up happening to the little studs on the bottom. I also feel that these bags have a very secure drawstring. So if you go to close everything off with the slider, I feel like it's very difficult to see what you have going on in your bag. If anything, it looks like a tiny little flower, which I think is wonderful. So there's the mini, and then as far as on the regular number 8, and it's also very easy to move the slider as well. So it just looks like a little flower, right? And then with the little petals or the pleats that it has, oh yeah, definitely looks like a flower. Another pro that I'd have to say is, even though this handle, it's not necessarily stationary, but you can move it over because the leather is so flexible. So I do like that. So that way, if you wanted to get a better view of what you have going on, you're able to do that. But I will talk about this in just a second as well. So I also wanted to point that out. So there is the number 8, and then the number 8 mini. If I was to do the same thing, I just kind of move this over. Out of the two, I will have to say that obviously because of the size, this one is a lot more spacious, and I can get away with carrying all of my daily essentials and then some, which is it's kind of exciting for me because we all know the type of person that I am. And even if I end up carrying a little bit more with me, I don't feel that the bag is like lugging around a brick. I don't feel that it's too heavy, especially because once more, you have a lot more options as to how you can end up carrying this bag. So this one definitely ends up taking the cake with what you can end up fitting in here. Now with the mini, of course, it's not going to fit as much as the larger version, but with this one, I highly recommend going for more compact small leather goods. That way you can end up maximizing your space, because you can end up fitting regular small leather goods in here, but if they're a little bit larger, you have to put them in at an angle, or if they're too large for the size that it has, it might end up hitting the sides, and then it might be a little bit more difficult to end up using the drawstring closure, and you might have those awkward lumps and bumps. So I also wanted to throw that out there. While I've been using these bags, like I mentioned before, I've been using them the last couple of days because of how lightweight the leather is. It just kind of leaves me in awe because it almost feels like I'm not even carrying a bag. Of course, you can end up feeling the weight a little bit more with this one because it is a larger bag. And with this one, of course, because it is a little bit smaller, it's even more lightweight. But either way, I feel like they are such a joy to use because it's not this heavy all leather bag, this heavy all leather bucket bag that just ends up weighing you down. So I am forever grateful that they end up feeling that comfortable that I can use for extended periods of time. Now, as far as the cons, the first one is not a deal breaker for me, but I can definitely see how it might be a deal breaker for some, is the fact that even though it does come with an adjustable strap, it is not removable. So that way, if you wanted to use the bag as a hand carry bag or on the crook of your arm, you pretty much have this as a decorative piece, and depending upon the setting that you have it in, it might be a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. Now, you can end up putting the strap inside of the bag. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend it, only because by doing that, it really takes away from anything else that you want to carry inside of the bag. And not only that, I think that it makes it that much fussier, because if you end up having the strap in here, and let's say that you wanted to take out your wallet or your keys or your sunglasses or what have you, I feel like when you go to do that, half of the strap might come out or all of the strap might come out, and then it might end up looking like this, especially if you're in a hurry. So that's why I say you can end up putting it in there, but it might be a little bit more frustrating to kind of deal with it instead of just having it be on the sides. And of course, with the smaller version, by doing that, it'll be even more frustrating. Well, at least for me, I can't speak for anybody else. It's even more frustrating because there's only so much space that you have before it starts to kind of look, it starts to kind of look like a mess. Another con when it comes to this bag, even though I am very fond of the silhouette and the structure that it has, I also think that the opening is somewhat fussy, more so on the smaller one than on the larger one. Because even though you can end up moving the handle over, because it does have a smaller opening, it's a little bit more restricting and you can't really see what's going on. Also, because of these same pleats that they have, I feel like my hand constantly ends up hitting them inside of the bag, whether I go to put something in or take something out. I feel like my hand is constantly hitting it. And I just think that over time, these pleats on the inside might end up getting a little bit dirtier, or with the suede lining that it has, it might end up showing scratches a lot faster because of how you continuously get in and out of the bag. So I just wanted to mention that. And with a larger one, like I said before, you can end up moving this, no problem. It is a little bit more generous because it is a larger bag and it does have the bigger opening. But with this one, I feel like it's not as fussy because of the size. But again, some of the pleats might end up hitting your hand and it might end up causing them to get a little bit dirtier. But with this one, I feel like you can see a little bit better. You can see a little bit more of what's going on inside of your bag. But also because of the north-south design that it has, or because of the style of bucket, some people might consider this to be more of like a black hole because it doesn't have a whole lot of organization. Another con, this is not a con for me, but the fact that it doesn't have any interior pockets or exterior pockets. And I honestly think that they purposely didn't put a pocket in here, just because of these same pleats that they have. I feel like if they would have added a pocket, it would have made it that much more, it would have made it a lot more difficult to fit more items inside of the bag, even with the bigger base that it has, because it might be a little bit awkward. You know, if you ended up having a pocket there, it might be a little too awkward, at least in my opinion. Something else that I wanted to note that's not necessarily a con, but it might end up helping you guys out as well, is that with this one, I actually prefer to use this as a hand carry bag or on the crook of my arm instead of using it on my shoulder or as a crossbody. Actually, when I go to use a crossbody, I find that it's a little bit overwhelming and I think that it's a little too big for my body frame, even if I have it on the shortest setting. So I'm not too crazy about that. Now with the mini, I've used it all 4 ways and I love it all 4 ways, but I definitely prefer to use this as a crossbody bag, whether it's on the shortest setting or on the larger set or on the longest setting. I just think that because of the shape, it doesn't end up sticking out of my body. It doesn't end up looking like it's too cumbersome either. It actually ends up fitting very similar to the Alma BB. So I absolutely love that. But yeah, whether it's hand carry, crook of my arm, on the shoulder, or as a crossbody, I just think that, I don't know, I'm a little bit more fond of this one than I am of the large one. But crossbody, I just think that this one looks a little bit funky on me. And you guys will definitely see that in the mod shots. But those are the cons, in my opinion, when it comes to the number 8 and the number 8 mini. I also want to do a side-by-side comparison with other bags just to give you a better idea of the size. So here is the number 8 and POLÈNE's number 1. There we go. And with the number 8 and the Louis Vuitton Speedy 25 bandolier. I know that they're not similar at all, but again, just an idea as far as the size goes when it comes to the body of this bag. A side-by-side with POLÈNE's number 1 mini. And last but not least, a comparison next to the number 7. Now for the mini with the Louis Vuitton Palm Springs mini backpack. Side-by-side with the number 1 mini. And very quickly, I can definitely tell you guys that there is a huge difference in weight compared to the number 1 mini and the number 8 mini. Huge, huge difference. I feel like this one is 1,000 times more lightweight than this. Side by side with the Celine Nano Luggage Tote. With POLÈNE number 7 and the mini. There we go. These pretty much have a similar size on the base, right? And just for the sake of another comparison, the number 8 mini with POLÈNE's number 1. huge difference, obviously. I also wanted to show you guys some of the things that I end up carrying inside of the mini. And as I mentioned in the video, I do prefer to go for more compact small leather goods. You can end up using larger SLGs, but I think that it ends up getting too bulky too quickly. But usually with this one, I do end up using either a flat card holder or I'll end up going for the Chanel O-Zip coin purse. But just for the sake of this video, I end up moving the strap over, and I did have to take off my ring because my ring ends up getting caught on these little pleats a little too much. So I have a flat card holder, and then that guy just fits in there like so. And then right now you guys can kind of see what I was talking about in the video where your hand ends up, or my hand ends up hitting those pleats that I was talking about. All right, so then I have the Chanel Beauty CC pouch, and that one I kind of end up standing on its side. I feel like it makes it a little bit easier. And I also end up carrying my cold hard cash pouch, and this is from Z Gallery. I get a lot of questions on it. I paid like 20 bucks, so that goes in there. And then I can also end up fitting my phone. My phone fits in there quite nicely, and a couple of lipsticks, loose lipsticks, and maybe also my round coin purse. So this guy also fits in here, and I'm still able to close this off, and I still have quite a bit of security, and I really like the fact that I can pretty much turn this upside down and nothing ends up falling out. I don't have any weird lumps and bumps or anything like that. So like I said, you can end up fitting a mini pochette, but I think it just gets way, way too bulky. And then other times I might end up swapping out either lipstick or a different small leather good for my hand cream if I wanted to as well. Oh, I forgot one other thing. My 6 key holder, because that guy obviously has to fit in here as well. So I'm still able to fit it in and close it back up, and nothing ends up falling out. So that's how I end up preferring to use this. So it's kind of nice that I do have a little bit of self-control, right? Considering that usually I want to try to carry everything and the kitchen sink. So this ends up working out very, very nicely. And I still think that it ends up carrying a good amount of items considering that it is a smaller bag. So there we go. I have one more lipstick left in there. And I'm really curious, do you guys like it when I end up showing you what I end up fitting inside of the bags with this angle? If you do, or if you have a different suggestion, let me know in the comment section down below, because that way I feel like you guys can really end up seeing everything. And if I end up struggling with any bag, whichever one that might be, I feel like this angle ends up working out a little bit better. I also wanted to share what I can end up carrying inside of the number 8. Now, even though this is a larger bag, obviously you can end up carrying bigger items with you, but I still prefer to go for more compact small leather goods. Now, in the event that you want to go for more goodies or for bigger small leather goods, of course you will be able to feel the weight a little bit more, but because the leather is so lightweight anyways, it's not like you're going to be carrying around a brick or anything like that. Okay, so in here, of course, I always end up carrying my phone, so my phone fits in here quite nicely. And let me move this handle over. I definitely feel that it's a lot easier when you move the handle over. Otherwise, I feel like you're kind of trying to struggle with it. So then I end up carrying the mini pochette. So that guy fits in there. And the Chanel small zip wallet. I think this is the medium now. I can't remember. But that guy also fits in there. My Chanel 6-ring key holder. A couple of loose lipsticks, although let's be honest, I will also have some inside of my mini pochette. Then the round coin purse from Louis Vuitton, and the key pouch from Louis Vuitton, and let's also do the lotion from Chanel. So I have everything in here, and that's what I was saying earlier. I feel like the opening is somewhat generous, so you can kind of see what you have going on in there, but it's still, if you do have dark small leather goods, I think it makes it a lot harder. But I'm still able to close this off, no problem. And I still have quite a bit of security. And I also like the fact that if I turn this upside down, nothing ends up falling out. So, you know those times when you're leaning over, if you're out shopping, if you lean over for the bottom shelf, and sometimes your purse might end up leaning forward or what have you. I know I've had many times where sometimes my items end up falling out, but the fact that this one doesn't have that, I think is pretty amazing. But I will have to admit that for the most part, when it comes to this bag, whether it is the larger version or the smaller version, I do prefer to use this with the drawstring completely open. I just think that it makes it a lot easier. But I don't have any lumps and bumps or anything like that. And let's just say, for the sake of this video, that you wanted to carry more with you. If you end up carrying more more and more and more, then I think that everything starts to kind of go on top of each other, and that I find fussy because if you have to get to an item below it, then you have to move things around. So that has been my experience, but still, I'm able to close this off. I still have that security and nothing ends up falling out, and still no weird lumps and bumps. I feel like sometimes the pleats end up taking away from if you wanted to carry a little bit more in comparison, as I said previously, to other bucket bags. Overall, I love these bags. I absolutely love these bags, and there are so many things that I appreciate. I love the fact that they're lightweight. I also appreciate the fact that it has so much versatility, and even though it doesn't have as friendly of an opening as I would have liked, I think that the pros outweigh the cons on this one. And I also wanted to mention that I have not experienced any type of color transfer on any of them, whether it's the black, the fresh almond, or the nude, and if anything ends up happening as time goes by, I will definitely keep you guys updated. I also want to mention that when I first got these bags, it wasn't that the leather was necessarily stiff, but I just feel like it's definitely relaxed the more and more that I've used it, and I can imagine that after using it a couple of months or a couple of years, it might get even softer, but not to the point where it ends up losing its shape, because I feel like it still has quite a bit of structure to the point where it won't end up turning into a beautiful mess. And out of the two sizes, I actually end up preferring the mini a lot more than the regular 8, which is funny because initially I thought that I would end up going for this one just because of the size and being able to carry a lot more with me, but that hasn't been the case. This is the one that I've been reaching for a lot more often, which is even crazier because you guys know I am one that tends to go for very neutral colors, safe colors. Black bags are my favorite, but with this one, I don't know if it's the color, I don't know if it's the detail or the design that it has that kind of adds to it that I'm just crazy about. But I think it's wonderful. So do I recommend them? I think that if you are looking for a handbag that you can see all of your items at a glance, something that doesn't have a very fussy opening, and also one that comes with a removable shoulder strap, then no, I don't end up recommending it. But if you are looking for an all leather, lightweight handbag that still has quite a bit of versatility, even though it's not removable, and that does have a very unique silhouette, then I definitely recommend it. All right, you guys, that does it for my first impression slash in-depth chit chat on Polene's number 8 and number 8 mini. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope I was able to give you a little bit more information, especially if you're looking to add these items to your collection. But again, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure and give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys later. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not, the choice is yours. Have a great day.